Let's talk about it. Kamala Harris. Kamala. How do you pronounce it? No disrespect. But you want us to follow Kamala Harris. Because why? She's the first black woman president. Or running for president. What? For the second time.
Brought to an abrupt end today, even before the first vote was cast.
I'm not a billionaire. I can't fund my own campaign.
Senator Kamala Harris, who sought to be the first black female president of the United States, calling the decision one of the hardest of her life.
I cannot tell you that I have a path forward if I don't believe I do.
She shot to the top tier early, famously taking on Biden for his previous position on mandated busing to integrate schools.
There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
But Harris started to plateau in the polls, often struggling to defend her record as a prosecutor.
When you had the power, why didn't you try to effect change then?
So I'm glad you asked me this question. I made a decision that if I was going to have the ability to reform the system, I would try to do it from the inside. Was I able to get enough done? Absolutely not.
Over the weekend, signs the campaign was unraveling. The New York Times obtaining a resignation letter from a Harris aide who said, "I no longer have confidence in our campaign or its leadership."
And for those at home keeping track of the numbers, the Democrats now 15 candidates. Only 7 had qualified for the next debate. Kamala Harris was one of them. That brings it down to 6 at this point. And you have learned from inside the campaign that they put their heads together. They really thought about this over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Senator Harris told her staff today that throughout the Thanksgiving holiday, she worked round the clock to try to figure out how they could make this work. But after doing a campaign audit, she said she simply did not have the money to move things forward, David.
All right, Lindsay Davies, who's covering the race for us. Lindsay, thank you.
Because what? The first time she didn't make it past primary.
I do not believe you are a racist. And I agree with you when you commit yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of 2 United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Look, everything I've done in my career, I ran because of civil rights. I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
But Vice President Biden, do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No,
do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I opposed.
Well, there was a failure of states to integrate public schools in America. I was part of the second class to integrate Berkeley, California public schools almost 2 decades after Brown v. Board of Education.
Because your city council made that decision. It was a local decision.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act. That's why we need to pass the Equality Act. That's why we need to pass the...
You guys watching the debate one time. I think I was watching the debate where she had a debate with Joe Biden. And she was on the stage and she acted like she didn't know that man. She mentioned Bo Biden's name now. And we good friends. But when she was on the debate, she didn't know that man. And people know what I'm talking about. It's like when you come somewhere and your cousin acted brand new. And they invited you. And they acted brand new. So now you feel like you stuck out here. Like Joe Biden, like, ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. You taking this Grand whistle and confusing him like this. He didn't know what was going on. So that's why his wife Jill Biden still is offended by that. But that's sidebar. But Kamala Harris, Kamala, I don't mean no offense. But I'm going to say this. You want me to support her because she's the first black woman. You didn't say African American. None of those famous terms that came from our favorite Jesse Jackson or whoever it may be. I may not be lost on my information there because you understand. Everybody understand. I'm only a barber with about 4 brain cells. You know what? I did a lot of partying. Let's sidebar. Kamala Harris. Let's go back there again, because I'm trying to say it a few times so I make sure I don't be disrespectful to her name. So you want me to support Ms. Harris, Vice President of Joe Biden? Okay. I got some questions before I even get to Ms. Harris, Vice President of Joe Biden. They had him on stage confused. I got some questions. But before I get to the questions, I'm thinking about some things here. Why Joe Biden didn't run? Is it because he's too old? Which they told me I'm crazy. Nah, I take that. I'm the barber. I did boy that Hennessy. Leave that Hennessy alone. Boy, that Hennessy powerful. Leave that Hennessy alone. But I ain't talking about Hennessy right now. I ain't trying to be no promote for them. Let's talk about this now. Joe Biden. Why Joe Biden run? It's like being at the casino at the blackjack table, and I'm only taking their words. Cause as I guess her name is Karine. What's her name? Karine Jean Pierre. I think is that her name? Is that her name? Is her name Karine Jean? I don't know. I do not know. But let's say the most beautiful queen, Karine Jean Pierre, the official spokesperson for the White House. So, Karine Jean Pierre, they asked her, why Joe Biden run? She said, since it was in the daytime, I'm going to give her credit. It wasn't at nighttime because Joe spoke that night. It was last night. But I was in the middle of a family emergency. But last night spoke. So Karine Jean Pierre said, you're going to get all the answers you want. Just tune in tonight. Peter Doocy asked a question. CNN asked a question. MSNBC asked a question. She said, tune in tonight. I'm going to give you an answer. Joe Biden's going to speak for his own words. I'm going to tell you, after Donald Trump may or may not got his ear grazed by a bullet, I'm not here to parse Harris with that. We can talk about that later. That's a different video. But may or may not. Okay, whatever. I'm giving it to you. Whatever. After that, Donald Trump come on stage on a Thursday night. Not a Thursday night, but a Thursday night. And my folks in the place know what I'm talking about. I say Thursday night. Come on a prime time. Get these people a copy of his speech that he's going to do for the Republican National Convention. I'm talking about. He did like text messages do. When they say only 120 characters, or the old Twitter that's known as X, Twitter X, whatever it may be called, whatever amount of characters they say, he said, I'm going to do 3,000 words. I said, Trump, how many words you want to do? 3,000 words. You read my whole speech. Just got shot in my whole ear. Not supposed to be here. Half inch away. Republicans ain't got no backup for me. Why? Because most people vote for Trump. They will never vote for another Republican. Rubio, Nikki Haley. I like Ramaswamy. But like I tell my daughter, love her to death, tell my daughter, they ain't gonna vote for my hostile homeboy. He hostile. That's why I love him. He hostile. Keep doing it, Vivek. Why didn't I say your name at first? Vivek Ramaswamy. Boy, I know how to say that, boy. Vivek Ramaswamy. Look at that. Ain't you proud of me? Hey, ain't you proud of me? I'd say, why are you looking that way? I'm talking to you. God. I use the Lord's name in vain. Lord Christ. Okay, but yeah. Vivek Ramaswamy. Nobody, they're not gonna vote for Vivek. I'll vote for Vivek, but we be by ourselves. Vivek, I'm with you. Vivek Ramaswamy, with you. I know I say that at first. But my boy, I like my boy in Florida. DeSantis. I ain't go for none of that stuff Trump was talking about, disloyal or disanctimonious. I can't spell that. So he ain't worried about me sticking with that. I ain't worried about none of that. But who else gonna vote for any of these people besides me? So we talking about a conspiracy. It may be a conspiracy, but I don't think it's involving Trump. Because most people who's very conditioned to violence, they know one thing. Most people who's very conditioned to violence, they know one thing. Don't touch my head. Care what you do, man. Don't touch my head. We ain't gonna play none of that. Or let's go second, snipers. I don't know. I'm not a sniper. I'm a barber with no clippers, maybe 4 brain cells. Don't know. But from what I research on snipers, they say they don't like headshots, they like body shots because they don't move. So I don't know. I don't know. But Kamala. Miss Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris. They say, since I'm a brown American, that I'm supposed to vote for Kamala Harris. Kamala. Okay, let's go back. Miss Harris, the Vice President. You say I need to vote for her. I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. All jokes aside, Miss Harris is from California. She was the senator. I think she sponsored over 140 bills. Don't take my word for it. I'm an out-of-way barber with no clippers, about 4 brain cells. That Hennessy was rough. But then from prosecutor, she became senator. From senator, she was prosecutor. And when we look at that prosecuting record, because we're going back to about age 30, I'm not going back to some of the salacious details, because you check my past. Don't check my past. I don't want to check that either. Yeah, I don't. Kamala, I'm like you. I don't want to remember it. You keep that. I don't want it. But let's go back to what I'm talking about now, though. Let's come to the future. That's all that's real. What future's not real. Let's come to the present. The main reason I'm not really with Miss Harris is because I need her to explain to me about the Supreme Court having to force her.
The District Attorney of San Francisco, Kamala Harris, appeared in the courtroom during your trial twice.
Yeah, the 2 times that Kamala Harris showed up to my trial was when I got convicted and also when they laid down the sentencing.
When you saw her on the day that the verdict was handed down, did you take that as a bad sign?
It felt to me that she was well aware about my case and she was there to set her presence, almost take pride in getting a conviction. When I put in my appeal, the people that's fighting against my appeal to keep the conviction is the Attorney General office. I learned it reading, their reply to my appeal, and you see Kamala Harris' name at the bottom. And now it's starting to feel a little personal.
When you win the $13.1 million, it's a massive settlement. Did you feel like that was enough?
There's not an amount that could get back those 7 years. That was 6.5 years that I spent in prison. But instead of me coming home feeling like I was a victim, I wanted to prove that I'm a survivor, and I will not let my story go unheard. I'm not necessarily saying I'm looking for an apology, but some acknowledgement from her that she could have messed up would be, of course, that'd be huge. You could have made some mistakes. You could have missed some things. For me, it was a big miss. I had life in prison.
I need her to explain to me about the young men that she held in a penal system for marijuana charges when California has the most lenient marijuana rules, and the marijuana charge wasn't even theirs. I need Kamala to explain to me about her record when it comes to black males in the state of California. I really need those explanations. So to get dead serious with you, before I can say anything, I need the answers to that. But before I go that, this is all my street situations. Because you can come out later on and you can act like in Minnesota, I'm gonna put together this no bail bond form and whatnot, and you can let some of my goofiest homeboys out there who I don't want to see out. You want to see them out? I don't want to see them out. I love them, but they ain't raised right. So you keep letting people out. Cause look, sidebar. What really does the community a disservice, especially with the community I'm part of, East St. Louis, Illinois, what really does the community of East St. Louis a disservice is the people that comes up in deep in Edwardsville. For all y'all who don't know, that's the suburbs of St. Louis. Deep in Ladue, suburbs of St. Louis. Deep in Wildwood, suburbs of St. Louis. Deep in St. Charles. But now they have the same skin complexion I have. So now when they show up, they say, I'm going to help you. Not listen to anything I'm saying. They're going to just go do what they want to do because they say that's helping me. Such as these riots that we have about when a black person is shot by the police. Sidebar, where's the Black Caucus at? Don't mind me. I told you I'm just a boy before a brain cell, so my brain flies all over the place. So now Miss Kamala, Vice President Harris. Until I can get the answers to some of these details when we talking about the incarceration situation, I really can't say I'm gonna vote for anything like that because it's such a bad taste in my mouth. Because when we think the sister of color who resembles our mother is gonna be more nurturing and understanding and give us a position to stand on, then you try harder than everybody to keep us incarcerated or not to dignify a black male, but you can steady push up what they say 40,000 women, 40,000 beautiful queens, 40,000 females on a Zoom call. What pride do we have in separating the sexes? If we're already behind the 8 ball, as we say, we're already hunted by the police, as we say, we're already the bad guys to the people, as we say, do you think divide and conquer is going to work? But maybe she's living up to the standards of her boss, Joe Biden. Maybe she lived to the standards of that Mr. 90s crime bill. Mr. Obama's the only articulate, clean-cut, black male that he met. I don't know which standards we're living up to. So, for all my sisters in the Divine Nine, AKA, and different things of that nature, I love it. But I need you to explain to me. Either have Kamala Harris explain to me her records, California. I'm going to keep it on the up and up. I'm not going to mention anything. But if I was, I'm not going to mention anything. But if I was, I ain't going to say nothing about no Brown, because that has nothing. If I was going to say something about a name, which I'm not going to say nothing about a Brown, ex-mayor of San Francisco. But I do need some answers. Miss Kamala Harris, prosecutor, U.S. Senator, AKA daughter of immigrants. All I need is some answers. And they can answer that for me, because I don't want a reminiscence of Obama. Look, I'm gonna go back a little bit above everybody's age. I'm going back some years. You gotta be Illinois to understand this here. You gotta be Illinois to understand this here. Obama, U.S. Senator against Keyes. Obama, U.S. Senator of Illinois against Keyes. So if you want to check my track record, you can check mine. And look what I said. At that time, about running my party in Illinois importing in a carpetbagger by the name of Keys to run against a black African American, half against Barack Obama. I didn't support that. I ain't support it then, and I can't support it now without answers. I'm not gonna say stay woke. I'm gonna say get informed. Understand what's your benefits, not your feelings. Facts over feelings. Always understand that. And we got another video coming talking about facts over feelings. Let's get better, folks.